So how long does it take you to put that together?
This is sadly this has been what I've been wearing probably for the last 3 weeks. I wear these pants almost every day. I wear this every day. I wear the same shoes every day. I switch up the socks.
That's good.
Yeah. This one, I don't know. I've tried to like really, really boil down my outfits just to be like standard American white guy.
Yeah.
I don't want people seeing me and being like, "Oh, that's this kind of guy." You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
You know,
I get what you're saying.
I'm trying to go blank slate.
That's kind of, I get that too. I'm a very big jeans and a t-shirt type of guy. I've been that way forever.
Mm-hmm.
And like, even as like, I think it was kind of crazy in the late 90s going into the early 2000s. Like, I remember being a kid and wearing like flannel shirts when they were like, people didn't really talk. They were just like, I had to wear flannel shirts because that's all my mom would buy. Because she was just like, this will keep you warm enough out in the woods doing whatever you're doing out there. And then they got popular and I was like, oh, cool.
No, I'm cool.
I'm in the cool kids club. And then they went down again. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm just going to continue to wear what I wear. I don't know if I could ever cultivate a look.
I don't know. Look cultivated? You look like you are ready to hunt Bigfoot at a moment's notice.
But I didn't plan that. I didn't wake up.
You're wearing a battle vest. You took the most time out of anyone here.
So what I'm saying is, with the vest, the only reason I cut the sleeves off of the vest is because I fucked them up so long that I was like, I kept re-sewing them because I was like, I just want to keep this jacket because I don't want to buy a new jacket. And I have all the jackets I have. I don't think I bought. I just got them either working at a bar because someone left them there.
Yeah, but you're bedazzling them.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, you are an artist.
Yeah.
You have to admit it. I think it's beautiful. I think you're special.
Thank you. Yeah. I tried to do it, dude. No, I guess.
But the patches all come together nicely, and they probably all represent your life in some way or some kind of form. Do they not?
Represent
what you got on right now? Tell us about the fit.
In some way?
Where'd you get all the patches?
Oh,
then?
well, I ripped off another jacket because I wanted the Flyers logo on my pat because I just like the Flyers.
Okay.
And then the American flag. Come on.
Okay, of course.
Come on.
I fuck with the American flag.
You know what? I've said this before, and I'll say it again. And when it comes down to flags, not the greatest flag. Not the greatest flag. I don't like.
No, but it's a good flag.
It's a grand old flag.
It's a classic. It's a classic.
I'm not actually, my favorite version of the American flag is the original with the circle of stars.
Yes.
The 13 column, the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, but we had to grow.
No, dude, we got to go back to the 13.
That was your favorite version of America, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, of course.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Just checking.
I'm just saying, dude. We had it right for a little bit.
Have we seen the revenge flag of Iran? Have you guys seen this?
The revenge flag of Iran?
Yeah. They've, for the first time in history, unfurled their revenge flag.
This has got to be, I hope it's awesome. Is it awesome?
It's not, I mean, it probably doesn't mean awesome things.
Does it have a skull on it?
Sick as hell.
Does it have a skull on it?
No. It's like a red flag with like white lettering, but it's the first time they've ever flown it in all of history. I didn't even know that countries had revenge flags until this.
Where's our revenge?
Look at this.
That's not that cool.
Come on.
That's not that cool. That's a bunch of gobbledygook with a bunch of. Look at that's too busy.
Huh?
That's too busy.
I guess.
That's crazy. What is all that stuff? Is that? Oh, now look. I may be uncultured here. I know in the middle there, that's writing. That's like a language. Everything around it with the yellow, is that another saying like, yo, what the fuck, dude?
I think it's all probably
all other languges saying
very
other
harsh
stuff?
Threats, I assume. I can't imagine it's all nice things. I don't think it's like.
I mean, on a revenge flag, it can't be like, yo, man.
I don't think it's like red represents the friendship between us all.
No, red definitely represents blood.
For sure.
And anger. We get that. The white, yo. And then the orange, I guess that's like fire. Mm-hmm. It's got to be fire. But I don't know what the symbolism means. And then at the bottom of the flag, Dan, if you go back to the previous image, that looks like a black metal logo underneath. Like, it's just completely indecipherable. I have no idea what that says. I don't know what it means. But as far as like revenge, that's not like a Jolly Roger is way more intimidating than that.
You think so? The skull? Yeah, in a way.
Not now, though.
Not now.
No, not now. Everything's changed. It got super lame.
If our enemies fucking rolled up with a Jolly Roger,
Yeah, we'd probably
Come on.
laugh at them. But you know, like, have you seen Angola's flag? Angola has.
They have like a AK-47.
No, that's I don't know what flag that is, but
Swaziland,
it's
maybe.
something
I don't know.
Swaziland.
One of those fucking.
Is that a place?
Miscellaneous African.
That's not
countries.
a real place.
It is a real place.
I'm not. all
Swaziland?
right. So Angola, the flag of Angola is one I think has the best color scheme, and it's like menacing.
Yes.
That's a fucking sick flag.
This is
The gear with the machete on it.
communist light, though.
It's taken a couple of fucking creative liberties with the communists.
Yeah.
I see that, but like, if I saw that flying on like a boat or something, I'm like, yo, they're probably gonna fuck it. They don't have any good intentions whatsoever. I don't need to try to decipher a language. The imagery shows me right then and there.
This is not a country you'd start peace
No, you
negotiations
don't
with.
go to the UN like, you know what, I'm gonna figure out what Angola's deal is all about. I don't think that happens whatsoever. But the other one, the revenge flag, it's good, but I would figure to have like, you know, it'd be like a boot stomping on like a Star of David or something.
Sure.
Would have been pretty sick.
Pretty cool.
Or like a bunch of yarmulkes on fire.
I think this does mean certain death for the world, though. Definitely for sure World War III.
You think that means certain death for the world?
Iran waving a revenge flag? Yes.
Flag of blood.
Come on.
Vengeance over. Look, again, I'm not saying that it's not, the meaning behind it isn't, you know, menacing or bad. You know, what I am saying is that's not the flag I want to see. Like, even if I was being killed by an Iranian and I saw that flag, I'd be like, you guys are gay.
Come on, guys. Do better.
Put a skull on there.
We need a machete.
Or a bomb or a gun.
Did you hear also what happened with the 4 generals that got terminated within an hour
They got terminated within an hour?
of the bombing?
No.
Am I explaining this correctly? I don't think so.
I don't know. When you say look, I'm not saying you're not, when you say terminated, you can say killed.
No, I mean terminated because they did get terminated.
They got fired?
No, so there was like military, I guess, attack drones already in the country of Iran from Israel that were like hidden.
Okay.
They did not know about it. And then within an hour of Tel Aviv getting bombed, they activated these 4 drones that came and just murked the 4 top generals.
Oh.
Within an hour.
That's
Personal fucking robot assassination.
Yo, dude, that's pretty. Now, again, is that sick? I think it's wild in the way that, like, you know, Israel just hid drones in a country for that long.
Right.
To just be like, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to sleep on these drones for a little bit. And then if they ever come after Tel Aviv, we're fucking lighting these fucks up. Which I don't really, I can't say that, like, that just seems too convenient. Wouldn't you think?
It is a little eerie because, I mean, these people are just like in their house being like, can't wait to bomb Israel tomorrow. That's going to hit them.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
They're going to be so surprised.
I think, look, I'm not like, you know, I don't know enough about Iran to know exactly what their capabilities are.
I don't even know where it is.
It's one country. It's like 3 countries over.
Yeah.
Because it goes like, I think it goes Jerusalem, and then there's Iraq, and then there's Iran. So there's a big old sandbox in between both of these places. So, like, to have them, it's not like they just flew over there and then, like, you know, within the day. That means they had to be waiting there.
They're waiting there
the whole time,
sleeping. Yes.
Which is, again, I guess in a strategic war, that's pretty smart.
It's better than, you know, civilians dying. You know what I mean? Or
yeah, but the problem is you kill 4 generals, you don't think there's going to be a flag of death.
Yes.
Now, like, that's
now there's the flag of death.
Now there's a flag of death.
Yes. I think war now will not be armies dying. It'll be leaders, and it'll be.
You think it'll just be the leaders?
And it'll be citizens. I think.
Oh, citizens will always die.
Yeah.
You don't think the soldiers?
I don't think armies are going at each other anymore.
Well,
you think so?
I mean, not. I think the what you define as armies is different. Like, there will be armies of like drone fight. Back when, like, if you spun back the clock to like 1942, you had like people flying in planes doing dog fighting.
Yes.
Now you were gonna have people with like PlayStation 1 controllers trying to like kill one another in like a Call of Duty setting.
It'll be kind of battle bots.
And that's not that kind of. I don't agree with that. I don't think we should do that. I think we should.
Call me old fashioned, but I want bloodshed.
I just think that, like, we should go back to not even like guns. Go back to like hand-to-hand combat and see who can win. That's what I think we've gone so far with technology. Now it's like, is like a drone kill even like an honorable like I'd be so bummed if I got killed by a drone. Like I wouldn't feel like, oh man, I saw my assailant and now someone can avenge me. It's like, no, I saw a fucking piece of plastic with 4 propellers on it.
Yeah.
And then it blew me up.
Gone.
Imagine being afraid of a drone.
Right.
That sucks.
Super lame.
Like like if you had a gun pointed at you, you'd be like, oh shit, maybe I'm gonna die. But if you just saw like a the sound of a mosquito coming towards you, that doesn't sound cool at all. I'd be pissed.
It's been in your house for the whole time.
Yeah, it's been,
new.
You didn't know what it was.
It's just like it's part of your fucking fire detector that just
it chirps every now and again and then blows up. You didn't hear that? I just don't really I don't really like that we're using drone warfare. I'm not a big fan of that. I think that's going to be our undoing because you're relying too much on technology now. And then if you have a country that can use in like an EMP or something and take out all of your communications and things like that, then your drones are useless. Everything's useless. And then what are you going to do? You're just going to be bombarded by a bunch of like other bullcrap. I don't know. I think we should bring back do I want mustard gas to come back? No. But do I want trench warfare to come back? Yeah. Bring back flamethrowers.
Bring them back.
Bring them back.
I know, but no, those days are gone forever.
No, I'm telling you, it takes one semi-nuclear holocaust to get us back to like going into a
back to putting DVDs in DVD players.
Straight up, dude. Do you watch DVDs?
Yeah, I got a DVD player now. I just went to the thrift store, bought.
You bought a DVD player?
I have a DVD player. I don't have internet right now, and I'm like trying to last without internet as long as I can. Because,
dude, I've definitely been there.
There's something nice about not being able to watch anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right now I have Kill Bill 1, I have Kill Bill 2, and I just went and bought 3 Adam Sandler movies. I got Big Daddy, I got 50 First Dates, I got Wedding Singer.
You got those 3 Adam Sandler movies?
Well, they didn't have all of them. I just got all the ones I could find.
Man.
But those are classics. Those are good ones.
Would I call 50 First Dates a classic?
50 First Dates was the beginning of the end for Adam Sandler's cinematography, I think.
You think that was the beginning of the end?
I think so. He went through like a dark period of time after that, and he's coming back out of it again.
I would say
It's still a good movie.
it's wonderful.
Look, I'm not saying
the
it's
beginning.
I'm not saying it's bad.
That one has the scene where like the walrus is just like puking and shitting or something
Yeah.
like that. That's kind of when he started getting into like too gross out humor.
Oh, well, he's got to go back to he's got to go back to that because like you have back-to-back Sandler movies where it's, Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. Crushed.
Yes, magnum opus.
And then you're going to have to be like, what's the next? Can you name the next Adam Sandler movie?
After that,
After that,
it might have been Waterboy.
it was Water.
Yes,
Now, after Water.
Another great movie.
another great one.
Look, I've got no bad things to say about Waterboy. Got me through some tough times as a kid. I remember so my mom was going through her 3rd divorce.
Yes.
And my stepdad at the time just like left with like the 2 cars and we had no cars. So we walked to West Coast Video to rent a movie and my mom's like, what about this one? I was like, I guess we'll watch Waterboy.
Yeah.
And then we watched Waterboy for 3 days straight.
Got you through your mom's
It
third
got me
divorce.
through the 3rd divorce.
I wish that was on the front of the movie.
Dude, I can't knock Waterboy. It's like, yo, man, this really helped out so much. And I remember being like, I wish part of like Waterboy was like anybody can join a football team now.
Yeah.
Anybody, you could join one. All you got to do is be retarded and mad, and you can fucking
I think
join a football team.
I don't like that pop culture's kind of like. I mean, right now they're kind of starting to respect Adam Sandler again, but for a while he was kind of mocked by like the internet generation. You know what I mean?
How so?
Everybody's acted like because his latest movies were like Pixels and like Jack and Jane or whatever the fuck.
Jack and Jill.
Jack and you know what I mean.
And then there was That's My Boy.
Dude, That's My Boy. Most underrated Adam Sandler movie. It seriously is. Have you guys watched it?
I haven't.
I have not seen That's My Boy.
I'm telling you, it will fuck you up how good it is.
Really?
How on a scale of 1 to 10? Scale of 1 to 10, and don't be like over generous.
If your mom gets divorced again.
Yeah, if
No.
my mom got divorced
Tomorrow. I'm telling you.
Will it get me through a divorce?
It would actually be the perfect movie to get you through a divorce. I'm telling
I
you.
could only hope.
I obviously it was during that era. I did not give a fuck
Yeah.
about it. And then I watched it twice in one weekend because it was on a flight. And it was so good. I watched it there and back.
Man, that is a wild thing to
And
do.
I've watched it like 5 times since.
Is it like a movie that, like, again, I'm not going to be like, yo, is it, because it got to have a very good plot. Is it like a movie I can put on and kind of like, is it brain sludge? Like, can I watch it and not give a shit about anything? Or do I have to be
You
like,
could, but I'm telling you, it's classic Sandler. It's so fucking funny. The premise is great. Like,
that's the one where he plays 2 roles, right? He's his sister.
no, that's Jack and
That's
Jill.
Jack.
Oh, we're talking about
That movie sticks.
that's my boy. That's the one with Andy Samberg, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
It's loosely based off that kid that fucking knocked up the teacher when he was 13 in the 80s.
In the 80s?
Yeah, it was like the first big like teacher fucking
I don't
student.
remember that. All I remember about the main was Deborah LaFlave. Do you remember her?
No.
You don't remember Deborah LaFlave?
This is a teacher that had sex with a student?
With a student. They're still married. Like, she had sex with a 13-year-old student.
And when was this?
This was in the 90s.
Okay, early 90s?
It might have been early
So
90s.
it's loosely that.
Okay, so yeah. So Deborah LaFlave was a teacher, had sex with a 13-year-old student, got busted, went to prison, got out of prison. She kept in contact with the kid the whole time, and they are still together now.
Yeah.
It's like
So she's just in a cell waiting for like a crayon drawn letter.
yeah, there's a backwards R.
Yeah, just a picture of the son of the corner.
He says
like, "Oh
all
my
his
God, I
R's and
miss him
stuff. He's
so
like,
much."
they're convicting you of wape.
Yes.
It's not good.
A 13-year-old boy. Yeah, that's actually kind of, I mean, obviously clearly fucked up.
It's very.
I don't even need the word actually in this situation. But usually whenever whenever it's like a high schooler, you're kind of like, all right, buddy. Go
No,
crazy.
13-year-old. Yeah, I guess you can't really.
13-year-old is what, 8th grade? 12th? Or 12-year-old? What is this?
That's got to be
7th, 8th
13?
grade?
Yeah, I think
eighth.
7th or 8th.
7th or 8th.
Yeah.
You know, you're old enough to know how the world works.
I
you
guess
know?
so.
According to Iran, you're old enough to die.
Old enough to die?
You're old enough to die.
Yeah.
You know, child armies are good. That's the one thing we got to watch out for is child armies. We were never expecting that.
Was there any teachers that you
I'll take our North Philly teens over there.
Dude, it's kind of wild. It's gonna be a thing where they're like, yo, you want to really deal with, like, have every Iranian ride the Market Frankfurt after 9 o'clock. See how that goes? Not good. All the drones will be on the bus. Was there ever
Were you
a
ever any teachers that you were in love with that you tried to swoop?
No, there were teachers that I thought were very attractive, especially when I was in high school. But there was a teacher when I was in 7th grade. Wildly enough, I look back on it, and I'm like, I probably could have been molested if I played my
your
cards
cards
right. if I had been a little bit more cool about this.
Yes. If you cared about what you wore to school, that
You know,
day.
yeah.
Everybody acts like there's that one poster that's like, no one remembers what you wore today. You know what I mean? At
What?
school.
At school, no one remembers what you wore?
Yeah, there's like a poster at schools that's just like, in 50 years, no one's gonna remember what you wore today.
Oh, that's just so kids.
People are gonna worry about like if you tried your best or whatever. But in your case, you fucked up.
Yeah, I did.
You could have got molested.
I should have showed up wearing a Gold's Gym tank top or something like that.
Who is this? This is a woman.
There's definitely a woman.
Just checking. Doesn't. Hey.
So here's the thing: if it had been a dude, I would have been like, get out. I would have been like, ugh, get out of here.
Sure.
Get out of here, dude. Don't even think about it. Don't even look at my supple fucking chest and my arms. But it was again, looking back on it, I was in a remedial math class, and one of my instructors, every day, every time I was in the class, she would constantly like remark on like how handsome I was,
Okay.
and which
Daily.
again, look, anytime I was in the class, she'd
And
be
this is 7th grade.
This is 7th
I
grade.
feel like you still had the mustache back then.
I wish I did. That would have been, dude. If I had it would have smelled like her by the end of the fucking day. So I went in every time I was there. She would like not blatantly hit. She would do that like, you know, it would be like a microaggression, but not an aggression. What is that? What's the difference between a micro?
Passive aggressive?
No, it wasn't even passive aggressive. She wasn't being aggressive. It was like a small compliment.
Okay.
But like it wasn't overbearing. Micro.
She's flirty.
Yeah, she's flirting.
Yes.
Micro flirt. She's flirtatious.
Yes.
So she would say it, and my brain would just be like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. She's just gabbing. No big deal. But then there were times where she would talk about how when she was in high school, she dated a guy named Brian Shaner.
Okay, wow.
And she keeps saying that, like, it would be so amazing if, like, I got, like, you're Ryan Shaner. It was like, it's just so crazy. It brings back so many old feelings about, like, and I'd be like, that is wild.
That's
like,
so crazy.
I
lady.
didn't even think about it. Like, can you help me with long division? I have no idea what's happening here. And then, so if I would have study hall there, and there was a time where she was like talking to me. I had to make up a current event for another class, and we were going through the newspaper, and I remember just sitting there, and we were going through article after article and nothing. Like, I just didn't give a fuck about doing this. And she was like, is there anything in this paper that interests you at all? I'm like, no. Everything's stupid. I don't fucking like it. And then I remember very, like, vividly, she turned the page in the newspaper, and there was like a whole bra and underwear ad on the next page.
Yes.
And she's like, I bet this interests you.
Wow.
And I was like, that's incidental. I was like, shit. I was like, yeah, of course it does. She's like, it's like, there's nothing wrong with being interested in things like that. It was like a very, like, you should. I bet if I was like, you know what? I wonder are you wearing anything like that? She would have shown me.
Sure.
She would have shown me.
You the movie Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you would just like to flash back to that time.
Dude, there's so many things if I went back in time, like, yo, you don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
What if you remembered it all wrong, though? You go to Butterfly Effect it?
Dude, I am constantly...
just your horny...
Yeah, dude.
13-year-old brain.
Believe me.
Putting it together.
I'm so afraid of being like, dude, that chick wanted me. It's like, she was actually like, get away from me, you fucking creep.
Yeah.
That's the biggest fear of going back in time.
Biggest fear.
Is realizing that, like, when you were like, I had an opportunity and I blew it. And then you go back and you're like, I never even had any of that opportunity.
There was never
My
even
brain was just like, you could totally bang this teacher of yours. But I remember there were times where she would always just like, she always did that thing too, where she would come around behind you if you were working on something, and like just to check in on how you were doing.
Yeah.
But she had pretty big cans, and she would like rest them on the top of my head.
She sounds like a problem, like a real
dude.
This does all seem like a very big issue.
It was so crazy. At one point in time, like, if you like, because I remember being in third grade, there was a teacher of mine who, she was very big. She was a big lady. So, like, anytime she came around you, you were getting walloped by a tit.
Sure.
There was no way of getting around it. But I think there was benign tit smacking. Like, that was just like, she could not.
Yeah.
As where this lady had pretty big cans, and she wasn't big at all. But there was one time I remember she would do it, and they would like rest on the back of my head. And I remember at one point in time, she like leaned over, and they were like drooping down the side. I was like wearing tit earmuffs at one point, and I started laughing because she had been there for so long, like just resting her boobs on my head.
Right.
And then she started laughing, and I was like, is this okay? I was like, I am so in the zone right now.
Do you remember the equation for the area of a circle? But you remember the feelings of her titties on your head?
I get
This is why you're in remedial math. None of this is about the actual
it was
time.
It was A equals aroused
Sure.
to the third power. I have no idea. I didn't learn anything.
There was a
math class
teacher
at
that
all.
slept with a student while I was in high school, but I never found out about it until after high school.
Whoa.
She was the hottest teacher. Everybody was in love with her.
And she slept with a student?
Some guy in the swim team, just some fucking,
Of course it was a swim
just some
team,
dummy.
dude.
I know.
How
That's
now the guy on the swim team, how was he good looking? Was he a good looking dude?
in hindsight, I was like, I guess I see why she picked him, but he was on the swim team, he was on track, he was all strong and shit like that. Yeah.
What was and this was what grade?
I don't know what grade. I probably was like 12th grade when they slept together.
Okay. And what grade were you in when this happened?
I had just graduated. Like they were like, "Oh, did you hear about Miss?" I guess I wanted to say her
So
name.
you would be in 12th grade when the fucking happened.
Whenever, yeah.
What was 12th grade Ben Staab like?
12th grade Ben Staab, I was living life, man. It took me a while to get friends, but by 11th and 12th grade, I had a good friend group.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. 9th grade, no friends. 10th grade, I had like one or two, and then 11th grade, I started hanging out with like the gamers.
Oh yeah,
The gamers pulled me in. I wasn't even a gamer.
But you just, you found your people.
Also, wasn't that you kissed a lady that year, right?
12th grade, I kissed a girl.
You kissed a girl for the first time in 12th grade?
Yeah, man, it took me a while. Took me a long while.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of chances that you'll never get back or whatever, I remember I think this was 12th or maybe I think this was 12th grade. Me and this one girl were trying to smoke and
weed?
Smoke weed. Smoke marijuana. This was a girl that like literally she was in my English class. English class was all about poetry and shit. Like we would like work on poems together and shit like that. And then she had me at her house and we were trying to smoke weed and I was struggling to smoke weed and she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna shotgun it." You know what I mean? And then which is like you do it.
Yeah.
And she didn't even do the hand. She just fucking grabbed my mouth and blew smoke directly in my mouth. And I was like, cool. She's like really helping me smoke weed right now. I'm like, what a friend, what a pal she is. You know what I mean? No one would do this for me. It sucks so bad. One day like, in the middle of the night, like 5 years later, I woke up in agony. I was like,
yeah, dude.
She loves me. Damn it. I know. Like I was so oblivious to everything back then. It wasn't even funny.
There was one time when I was in 8th grade, I helped a girl change and I didn't like my brain was just like, oh, you're just being a good dude.
Yeah.
And like, but at that time I had already like, my fingers were already stanked up. I already knew the most of the mechanics I needed for an 8th grader. But I just was like, she was like she's like, oh, I can't get this like shirt off. We were swimming and she was swimming with a shirt on and like those shorts with like they were like these high booty fucking gym shorts. And when you're trying to take off a shirt, it's like stuck on your head when it's wet. And she's like, I can't get this shirt off. And I was like, oh, no problem. I'll help. And like, I did it. And like her tits, and then she was like standing there with her hands on her hips with her tits out in front of me.
Like, excuse me.
And I was just like, okay. She's like, yeah. And she's like, these pants are stuck. And I was like, no problem. And I did that. I was like, all right, I'll see you on the other side.
Like, catch you on the other side of it.
Catch you outside. I'm going to get out there. It's fucking, we're swimming. And like my brain was just so, I do look back. I'm like, man, you're a fucking idiot.
Such an idiot.
Fucking
There's a girl that recently came back into my life, but I had like met up with her at 20 and then she invited me over to her house and then
she shotgun weed into your mouth.
No, this one's honestly even worse because it was like a little bit less innocent. Like invited me to her bed and then I just went to sleep. I slept in her bed. Bro, I was so fucking bad at everything.
Now, when
it's not even funny.
So wait, when was this? Did you say this recently?
No, this was honestly. I always imagined this was when I was 20. She recently hit me back up. She was like, I'm coming to Philly or whatever. And I found out. I think this was like when I was like 22. Like it was way too old for all this stuff. I'm telling you, bro. People in Philly are all like, oh, Ben's good at talking to people. Ben's like charismatic and shit. Like everybody thinks it.
I was gonna say. You know what I've never heard. But I'm not saying people don't think it, maybe, but I've never heard like, who's a fucking just linguist and like so good at talking?
The gift of gab.
He's got it so bad. Ben Staab. I've never got it. I'm sorry, dude.
But ladies throw themselves at Ben.
Oh no, Ben gets his hands on some ass. It's crazy.
But the thing is, like, I don't know. People always assume that I'm like have been extroverted and have been like good at like carrying myself in a room or whatever. Whereas just like, bro, I've had the worst. Like I've been the most like fucking. I mean, I'm fidgeting right now, but mostly.
I know
like,
you ripped a whole piece of rubber off of your shoe.
Maybe I'm not.
And I was watching. I was like, this guy is not good at talking to anybody. I was like, and I know him pretty well.
Yeah, I was honestly pretty happy that we had like the couch set up, so I was like, I don't really have to make eye contact if I.
No, you can look straight ahead.
Yeah, but
you don't have to sit. You don't have to look at me.
I don't know, but I just been like, yeah, I used to just be absolute dog shit at talking to girls or like anybody in general.
Really,
and I've gotten better with it.
Were you ever a person who was? Were were you bad at talking to like cops or anybody like that? Or
Cops, I'd be good at, I mean, in a way, good at talking to, just because I'd be like shaking and nervous, and they'd be like, okay, fine. Like, you're.
Oh, you. This retarded kid needs to go. Let's just let him
feel
go.
bad. Like, they like knock on your window aggro, and then like you just like, I'm so sorry, sir. You know?
Yeah, did you ever start crying? You ever cried in front of a cop?
Not in front of a cop, no.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. I've cried in front of a bank teller. I've cried in front of a.
You cried in front of a bank teller?
Yeah, I forget why. Because I had like no money or something. she said she had me have a seat.
Crying in front of a bank teller is fucking wild, dude.
I forget exactly what the situation was, but it was important. It was dire, and I had nothing, and they wouldn't help me. But she gave me a lot of tissues until I was good that I left.
Dude,
I forget exactly what was going on.
Danny and I were just talking about seeing men cry in public, and like, if I saw a man crying at a bank teller, I feel like he's so nervous to rob this bank right now. I feel like, oh, something terrible is happening right now. But then if you're like, yeah, I have negative $400 in my bank account and I don't know what to do.
That was like probably 2 or 3 years ago. I was living in Philly at the time. I forget exactly what was going on, but it was something with like account. I don't know. I just they couldn't give me money. I know I had some money, but they couldn't give it to me, and I was like, just lost it in there.
I mean, I've been apologized to at the bank 4 times.
Yes.
For not having any money in my bank account. Because I would go and like try to withdraw for like rent. And the one time I went in there, it was after like hanging out with a friend of mine. We went on a trip and we went to this bar, and I like totally overdrew on my card. And then I got to the bank and I deposited a paycheck. And I was like, oh, that should be good. I'll just come back tomorrow and get rent. And I went to the bank teller and I was like, oh, I'm going to try and take out like this much money. And she was like, you have negative $300 in your bank account?
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way that's possible. She's like, I'm very sorry, but you are very in the red right now. I was like, what does negative mean? And she's like, you actually have to get $300 to get back to zero. And I was like, that's just so crazy. I was like, come on. And then the one time, a lady apologized because I punched an ATM in TD Bank for having overdrawn my account so much that I had no money in it. And when I punched it, she was like, I understand. But you can't hit these machines. I was like, you don't fucking get it. I don't think I could. Did you think, the crying, was that?
Ask away.
Was that part of a full-fledged emotional breakdown? Or was that part of a tactic to thinking that they could do something for you?
I don't think they could have done anything for me. I just know I really was going through it at the time. Like, it was just, I don't know, I do be crying in public, man. It just happens.
Dude, I don't know what I'd do if I saw you crying in public.
No one does.
I think
one enjoys it.
If I saw you,
I try to control this. I try to like really get out of like whatever situation I'm in at the time. But it's happened before.
I don't know.
Sometimes you're crying, you got to push through your day, man. You got to fucking still get your shit done.
I mean, yeah, that's what's
being a man.
Yeah. If I saw you crying in public, I'd probably splash a drink in your face and be like, shut up.
I haven't cried in public in a while, but this was me as a young, my college years, I was like panicking all the time. I used to have like panic attacks. I used to like break down. Yeah, bro. I would just be like fucking losing my mind. Cause college, I was just super stressed and girls were really mean to me. And you know, like, I don't know, life was hard.
What do you mean they were mean to you? You don't know. Look, you don't have to go into it. I'm just trying to think, like, when you say girls are mean to you, do you mean girls were purposely antagonizing you, not talking to you? Because like when dudes say like girls are mean to me, it's like, are they ignoring you and you're perceiving that as mean? Or were they being actually antagonistic?
No, I think in my college ages, I was like school was really stressing me out. And I did have a girlfriend, but we had a very, very toxic relationship. Like we were just very mean to each other. So then, I don't know.
I call you crying again, Ben.
Yeah, I would just be breaking down crying all the time.
Man.
I didn't stop having panic attacks till I started doing psychedelic mushrooms. That's what I'm a big proponent of.
Wow. You think the psilocybin messed with your brain? And
I think so.
And now you're not going to cry anymore.
I don't know. I mean, also the thing is that I think I was never really taught that crying was like a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
Whereas like most men are.
See, I was never taught that crying's bad.
Yeah, you just figured it out.
I just knew it wasn't good. I was never taught that crying is bad. I just think it's like, I was just like, why would I cry?
You don't cry over like even beautiful things?
No, what do you mean by beautiful things?
I mean, I cried at. I went and saw like professional bull riding. That brought me to tears. You ever seen it happen live?
I got to be honest with you, but that sounds like someone who's tripping on mushrooms would say. It's like, I saw bull riding and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Like, it wasn't even a mushroom situation. But you're watching it and you're like, okay, well, this is like what this guy's got to do to prove he's a man. He's got to ride this bull and he's got to do it well.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And then they give you a little bit of a backstory. They're like, this guy is was a family of 4. You know what I mean? They give you
caught crying at the bank the other day. He's really in it right now. Women are mean to him.
But I don't know. And then whenever he fucking rides the bull and the bull's tough and he does it, and then you only have to last 8 seconds and they light off like a bunch of smoke and a bunch of lights and stuff like that. Then he gets off and he's like, you know what I mean?
I mean, that is
brings you to tears.
Amazing.
Yes.
I don't think that would bring me to tears.
You don't think so?
I don't think it would. I'm trying to think of like something that I've never been moved where something is so beautiful that I'm like, oh my God.
Really?
No.
Huh.
And I'm not saying that those things don't exist, and I'm not saying that would never happen. I'm just saying it hasn't happened yet.
I'm a baby a little bit.
No, you're not a baby. You're how old?
26.
Oh, you're yeah.
Emotionally,
you're
stunted.
I don't think you're emotionally. I think you're generationally stunted.
What do you mean, like the whole?
I think your generation is stunted, and it's crazy because earlier, I was looking at like news feed crap about like just bullshit because I saw this thing about Sabrina Carpenter and all this other shit, which I was gonna bring up, but the other thing I saw was there's a new term called man-keeping.
Man-keeping?
Man-keeping.
I didn't know, what is this?
Yeah, I didn't know what that was. I thought it was another like, oh, men are keeping or gatekeep. I thought it was like gatekeeping, but men doing it.
Ah, yes.
Not that. It's a term that women use because they have to keep their man emotionally grounded. And it's becoming so taxing on them because men don't talk about their feelings with their other male counterparts, and then they dump all their emotion on their partner. And that's why women are like, I don't want to date men anymore because men are too emotionally, all over the place, and I don't want to feel like I'm just an emotional punching bag for men.
Yes. Controversial opinion. I think men are more emotionally intelligent than women. I do. Because like women will like take a situation like that and they won't have like any sympathy for like, you could be like, yeah, I don't really feel like I can talk about my feelings with like any of my guy friends, and I'm glad that I have I have you to talk to.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh,
yeah,
just talk to your friends. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you don't get it.
Also, nobody gives a shit what happens to men.
No.
At all.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing is like, I know like, even if I were to go to somebody with a real serious problem, I'd be like, there is a 70% chance they won't care, or if they do, they'll forget by the end of the day. It's like, I understand that because everyone's got problems. And like, the thing is, when you're a dude, you just shut up. Mm-hmm. Just shut up and get a hobby. And like, when women are like, he never talks to me about anything. Are you paying attention to his hobbies?
Right.
His hobbies may talk to you.
I say this all the time.
It's not like, I'm not going to say it's very simple, but if a dude's like, yeah, I'm getting really into like this, and those things may be the outlet for the words that like, guys are kind of dumb in that way. Yeah, they're emotional, but they don't like have diarrhea of the mouth about it. It's not that hard to figure out.
I have diarrhea of the mouth though. I am an emotional little bitch. It's like kind of ridiculous, but I also have my hobbies and stuff like that. I think also like girls act like it's like hard to like get like a guy to like really love you or whatever, but I think it's like you just gotta be chill about their hobby. You know what I mean? You have to be a support role in the hobby.
You got to be chill about that. What is the biggest hobby you have?
I really switch up a lot. Right now I'm trying to learn how to fly a hot air balloon. That's been my hobby lately. That's been pretty fun.
I got to be honest with you. I'm on the side of the women being that's retarded.
Girls don't like it.
If you were like, babe, I'm just trying to be a hot air balloon pilot, I'd be like, what are you fucking talking about?
Girls straight up don't fuck with it.
No, dude.
I was doing salsa dancing for a little bit. That was my hobby.
Again? Benjamin? I don't really know. That's
sometimes.
Babe, you don't support my hobbies. You were never there for the salsa dancing. You were never there for the hot air balloon pilot lessons.
Sometimes I'll be collaging.
God damn it! You never pay attention to me.
I've been making salsa too, actually. Yeah.
With salsa. All right. All right, food's a decent hobby.
Food's a good one. I made a good salsa the other day. I do like a lot. I'm very ADD and I switch my hobbies pretty quickly.
Yeah, that can be a lot for
But
me.
girls don't like any of them.
No,
That's the thing.
because you got to do something that can help them as well. Your hobby has to be something that may be profitable, maybe or help them expand on their own thing.
You think so?
That's what I think that a lot.
Well, what are your hobbies?
I draw and paint all the time.
Yes.
And then, yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
That's about it. And write.
That's a really good girl
so
hobby.
drawing and painting and writing.
Yes, they like the art and then like painting.
Some like the art, some do not.
Yeah.
Some do not like the art.
Really?
Yes.
They don't like the two.
Some
you made two
do
penises
not.
with like another penis plane hitting it.
Yeah,
and
no.
spokes.
Some do not. They're like, I get it, but I also don't care for it at all.
Really?
Like they understand it. Yeah, I've been in relationships like that at all. Like when there's nothing worse than like one time I gave a chick a drawing that I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
I drew it and I was like, this is one of my favorite drawings ever. And she was like, oh, that's great. And then like wasn't excited at all that I didn't draw it for her. I was like, this is one of my favorite things. And I'm giving it to you.
Yes.
And she's like, it's just not like, I just not into it.
Sure.
And you're like, oh, well, fuck me, I guess. I guess I'll just never, and like you learn, like, I'll just never do that again.
Yes.
I'll
Never
just
gonna open up again to it.
Yeah, it's not that you'll never open up. You're just like, I'll just open up differently. I'll open like a smaller door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what you,
No, but I think like hobbies are just what keeps a guy sane or whatever. Like it just makes you feel like in control.
it depends on the hobby.
Like right now with my parents, like my mom calls it like a gambling addiction, but I'm like, that's his hobby and you got to let him do his hobby. You know what I mean?
Sure. But your mom is also, again, this goes back to like, this is costing us money. But then again, she'll celebrate that hobby when he comes home with like $1,000.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. It's all bad until it is good one time that benefits both of them. The hobbies got to benefit both of you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Because men don't care about women's hobbies. We're just like, we know you have hobbies. We just don't really know. Like most guys, older guys especially, be like, yeah, my wife knits. It's great. Keeps her occupied.
Yeah.
But like, if she ended up knitting forever, nothing will affect him. But if he keeps gambling forever, everything will affect her.
True.
You know what I mean? It's a different thing. And until he hits that one big fucking win, then it's like, I always believed in you. It's like, you never fucking believed in me at all.
Yeah.
It's not like she's going to knit a scarf and someone's going to be like, you know what? I really like these scarves. I'm going to give you $1,000 for that scarf. That doesn't rarely, if ever, happens.
It's not like that.
No.
Yeah. I support the gambling addiction though. He's pretty good at poker. I've been with him at the poker table in the casino. He whoops ass, bro.
That's crazy.
He's nice.
I'm a gambler, but I'm not a big card guy. All right, we got phone calls because
Let's do phone call.
I totally forgot.
I like the phone
You
call.
started. You know what? Sometimes you do have the gift of gab, dude.
Yeah, man. What? I just get you what?
It's the gift of blab, dude.
It's more black.
Yo, Shane. It's
Yo.
your boy Doug again. The one that
Doggy.
keeps calling in. Regular, like some weirdo guy around town that fucking you had a nickname for or always made fun of or something. We had this guy. Somehow we found out his name too. Reuben. Fuck his name, Reuben.
Ruben.
Anyway, we used to see him walk around town all the time in some like crazy, not crazy, but hoodie. It was like red sleeves of gray center, whatever the hell. He'd always wear this shit, and when we'd see him, we'd beep our horn all the time to the point where he was freaking out every time we beeped at him. He also rode this bike all the time. One time we were driving down this road where we knew he lived, and his sweatshirt that we know him by was like sitting on the road barrier. So we thought it was a trap, but we rolled up, hooked the sweatshirt. Dude, this guy had bags in his pockets. First instinct was, yo, this guy's got a shitload of weed. I reach in his pockets, and there was freezer bags full of cigarette butts. This dirty motherfucker must have been smoking everyone's cigarette butts around town. Anyway, another time, my buddy didn't live far from him. We were having a party at my buddy's house. We drove over, walked over, whatever. He stole his fucking bike and hacked it up into pieces. and then went and threw the pieces around his street. Yeah, we tortured this motherfucker, man. Do you have any guys like that? Bonus one. We also had a weird guy walking around town that looks like Steven Seagal, and half of us would call him Steven Seagal, half of us would call him Deceiving Mustache Man, because when you got closer, it looked like he had a mustache from far away, but when you got closer, he didn't have a mustache. Had to be some creep pedophile or something, but love you, Shaner. I'll call you another time.
Are all your friends schizophrenic, or are your
Jesus
your fans
Christ.
schizophrenic?
Doug, you might have just been a terrible bully.
Yeah, goddamn, dog.
Jesus Christ, Doug. Yeah, did you ever have a guy you had a funny nickname for? Anyway, we antagonized this guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, his nickname ended up being like School Shooter Joe, because he fucking, we just made him fucking kill.
I don't know if I necessarily understood the story as much. So there's a guy that they have a nickname for. They drive by, they beep the horn at him to the point where it physically, he has a physical reaction to it.
They tormented the weird guy, the weird
kid.
guy in town who was obviously mentally ill.
They basically went after Ben Staab in high school.
and now this guy put a trap where he put his clothes out as if it was him, but he was gone. And then they went through his clothes and they found that he's been smoking cigarette butts.
Yeah, just smoking. He just might have been a crazy guy. He just might have been a crazy guy that didn't understand what the fuck was going on, Doug. And then you destroyed his bike for some reason, which I don't really get.
That's not okay.
That's not. You know what? I can't be like, boys will be boys, because even then you got to realize, like, we were really shitty. Like, it seems, I don't even know if he's having like a thing where he's like, we really tortured that kid. But he wasn't like, we really, and you know what? I just feel really bad about it. He's like, we really shit on this guy for no reason. Doug, I don't know. There was, when I was in high school, there was a few unfortunate nicknames for some people. There was this one, I really felt bad. Because, like, it just, like, ran away with itself. Like when someone gets a nickname and there's nothing anybody can do about it. And, like, even they just kind of have to, like, that's what people call me every now and again. There was this chick I went to school with. Her nickname was Cat Piss Girl.
Oh, no.
And it, like, exploded. And I didn't understand. Like, for the longest time, people were like, so I was at this party, blah, blah, blah. Jen was there. Mike was there. Steve. And then Cat Piss Girl showed up. And you're like, Cat Piss Girl? Who the fuck is Cat Piss Girl? And then you find out you've had class with Cat Piss Girl for almost like half a year.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to figure out, like, why did they call her Cat Piss Girl? And, like, you're trying to figure out what it was. And it just turns out that she went on a date with a dude at one point in time. And the one guy was like, she kind of smelled like cat piss.
Yeah.
And then it just got to school and became a wildfire. And for the longest time, dude, she graduated, and I was like, "Oh, congratulations, Cat Piss Girl." I was like, you know what? I hope the future treats you well.
Yes.
We had Dick Sucking Jill.
Dick Sucking Jill? Wild.
That's right.
I bet she only sucked one dick.
No.
No, actually, she really did love wiener.
There was a kid I was friends with. His name was Jean Jacket John, but he always wore a jean jacket, and he was like a kleptomaniac.
All right.
And he would always be like just stealing things from different classrooms, and then he would like try to sell them out of his jacket, which was always funny because it's like a very old timey thing to be trying to do. Like that's like what kids in the 50s would try to do. No one had money, no one wanted to buy. Like he'd be like trying to sell pencils back to you. You know what I mean? Like he'd just be like,
"Yo, you want a number 2 Ticonderoga?"
Yeah. But he'd also just be stealing like hole punches or staplers and shit like that. Like he'd always be stealing.
Who would want that shit?
Nobody did.
No.
He was a very, very funny kid. Like I loved him. I was friends with Jean Jacket John, but everybody called him Jean Jacket John.
Jean Jacket John.
I remember once I got like honor roll or something. There was like a little honor roll party where you like show up and like there's like water bottles and cookies and all this. And then he didn't even get honor roll, but he snuck in. And then I just remember like this image of him like sneaking out of the thing. Like he had his jean jacket. He had so many water bottles and cookies. He was like huddling out of there. And he's like, "But they're on to me. I gotta go."
Where was the party at? At the school?
Yeah, it was like in the school library.
Cool.
But Jean Jacket John got in trouble he got I think expelled.
Oh no.
Or for jerking off in class.
That's That's not Jean Jacket John behavior.
I had to forsake him as a friend.
Oh, you
I
did?
had to be like,
you shunned him?
I never even really fucked with him.
Yo, dude, I never liked Jean Jacket John.
I know,
knew
but
he
everybody was
great-
asking me about it when he jerked off in Latin class, and I was like, "This isn't my guy."
In Latin class of all
Not my
places.
brother's keeper. I
Damn.
know, but I did call him. I was the only one that was.
Did you call him up and be like, yo, Jean Jacket John?
I had to figure it out.
heard some things about
Heard some
you.
things.
I need to know what's going on.
I heard some unfortunate rumors.
Triple J, tell me what's happening right now.
I really didn't want to hear it. I know. But yeah, like everybody was like, "What? Jean Jacket John got like he was jerking off in class." There was a lot of rumors about it, but I did call him because I did have his phone number, and what his official story was is that he got up to go to the bathroom, came back, went to sit down. When he sat down, he hit his knee on the desk. Right, and now his knee hurts. So now he's rubbing his knee. And so in the court of public opinion.
Everyone sees it.
Everybody.
All it takes is one person to be like, he's jacking off.
I know, but so I was on the phone with him. I
Man.
didn't really believe it, but I'm like, that sucks, Jean Jack.
Jean Jack John, it does not sound real.
It doesn't sound real.
I gotta be honest with you, Jean Jack John, it doesn't add up.
Sounds like you're flicking the pickle.
Oh, all right. We got one more phone call. Hopefully it's not about, torturing a young man just trying to live life.
Hey, Ryan. This is Nathan from San Diego. I have a dating question.
Yeah.
So I have been dating with the apps, and I have come to the realization that I pick all of the bad ones. So I'm 40 and divorced, but the first person that I met and got into turned out to be married to a woman, so that was strange. And the second one, I found out had a recent eating disorder that has plagued her for a while. And I need some advice on what to do and what not to do when trying to find somebody, because I seem to only know what not to do. All right. Love the show. Thank you.
First of all, an eating disorder is a female hobby. Be okay with that.
She's really good at bulimia. She crushes bulimia, dude.
You can set up your little model train. She
Yeah.
can just be.
She can just be in the bathroom making herself throw up. That's fine.
Yeah, nothing wrong with an eating disorder.
Is it? Did you ever see the? You said you're 27 years old.
26.
26. So did they show you the film, like the old film in health class about the girl stacking jars of puke in her closet?
No.
Damn. Daddy, do you remember that? Did you ever see that one?
No.
Damn it. It's not a fever dream. This actually happened.
Okay.
No.
Dude, so in health class they were talking about like
Wait, when is this?
when was the film made or when did I see it?
Yeah. Like what health class?
The ninth grade. I think it was ninth grade.
Nah, I went to an all boys school. We didn't
They
care
don't
about
believe in bulimia.
Yeah, we didn't care about lady problems at all.
You thought menstruation was just about dudes doing stuff?
Yeah, we just knew you can't fuck her for a week. That was almost
That's
a
sad.
sentiment.
Yeah, we watched a film about eating disorders, and it went into anorexia and bulimia, and there was like a small segment of this woman. It was I think it was an after school special. You can probably find it on YouTube. This chick who was throwing up to make herself skinny to I think join a cheerleading squad, and she was saving jars of puke in her closet. And her mom, I thought I was going to say this. Her mom ended up finding them after cleaning her room, and it was just mason jars full of vomit. Yeah. And I remember in the film, the vomit was purple and gray. And her mom was like, "What is this?" She's like, "You don't understand." And we were like, "That is the coolest thing we've ever seen."
Was this just general mental illness?
What do you mean? No, this was bulimia. That's what we thought bulimics did.
Yeah.
Was just save puke.
That one, they're compounding mental illness.
Yeah,
I feel like there's layers.
This was all just about bulimia. It was women who have anorexia don't eat to a point of completely being skeletonized, and bulimics throw up in jars, and save them to hide them from
Eating
my family.
disorders run in my family.
Oh man.
Yeah, my mom was anorexic. At like when she was like a teenager, like she got down to like 90 pounds, and then
Jesus.
my brother like only ate fruits for like a while. Like he used to.
Is that an eating disorder?
in a in a way? Yeah.
I thought fruits are good for you.
but it was only fruits. Like if he would like.
So he's
literally-
just that's a mental illness.
It's a little bit of a mental illness.
I think that's a mental illness.
During that time, I also like stopped eating like most foods. Like I was really there was like a period of my life where I was only eating like matzo crackers and like salt.
And salt?
Yeah, that's why I really think I didn't hit puberty that hard. Like I really fucking nutrient.
You really stunted your
deficient myself
development.
super
Jesus
hard.
Christ.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the eating disorder. You get over them.
Sometimes you do.
And also fucking deal with it. I don't know. At least it's a girl that knows what she wants to eat. You know what
You
I
know,
mean?
you never have to ask.
You never
Where
have
you
to
want to
ask.
eat, babe? I'll out.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter where we go.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw up in a jar.
And then also the other situation didn't really matter too much. She has a lesbian relationship that want to add a boy to the mix.
I mean, I think this guy he's looking for like straight up love.
He wants
He
love.
wants love. He wants a meaningful
I
relationship.
don't think love's hard to find if you're really looking for love.
Well, apparently this guy is using all the apps, and he's coming up short. One, I would say the apps aren't ever going to help you.
Brother,
Uh,
salsa, dancing.
I think Ben has a great point.
Yeah. Fucking, bro.
Don't do balloon pilot.
Because even if you're bad, like they'll want
Yeah.
to help you.
Yeah,
And then that's your like the hardest part I imagine of starting a relationship is the initiation of talking.
sure.
I'd say yeah, literally any kind of class is
Yeah.
a great way to meet somebody.
That's what I mean.
Like dancing is a goofy way because like it's like naturally silly and you're naturally touching the person. Then you have a connection, you buy them a drink afterwards. But if dancing's not your thing, do a little art class.
I guess in my head though, like, and I'm not knocking the idea to do salsa dancing at all. In my head, it's like if I showed up to learn salsa dancing by myself,
You could do it.
I think most people are like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
No,
Why do you want to learn salsa dancing? Just to learn salsa dancing?
me specifically.
No, I'm just saying. If I showed up and they're like, "Oh, you're exploring salsa dancing," like, "Yep, just always want to learn salsa dance." That seems fucking crazy.
It's not really
that
like that.
seems pretty nuts.
It's not like
I want to
that.
learn the tango.
You want to? You have a wife.
I don't want her to learn the tango.
I don't want her to learn the tango. That's crazy.
But I'd say any social dancing is the best way to meet somebody because
Sure.
I think
Yeah, sure.
mostly what goes wrong in courting is words that come out of your mouth.
But
And
your
if you
body can
if you
say-
can minimize that,
yeah.
yeah, if you can just like skip straight to physical attraction.
Look how good I am, or awkward I am. But then again, I have heard women equate dancing to fucking.
they do.
So if you're bad at salsa and you're bad, like, what if you were like, I want to learn salsa, and then you are routinely bad at salsa,
Yes.
and then you're just like salsa dancing like a fucking retard.
There's some dweebs and then there's some sharks on the dance floor that get all the girls and stuff
Yeah,
like
see,
that.
that's the other thing. Do you really
But
want to
dude,
go?
any type of I'd say this guy needs to figure out what type of girl he wants and where she might be. You know what I mean?
I
Maybe
agree
he
with that.
doesn't want a dancer. Maybe he wants to go to, a ceramics class. Maybe he likes a ceramics girl. Maybe
Any-
he wants a nice Christian wife. Go to church
No, you never go to church.
to meet girls.
No,
Yes, you could.
you could.
Don't you think?
If he's on the dating apps, I think he's looking for someone who, I mean, again, I don't know his religious beliefs. And if he's calling into this show, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have many.
Yeah, pretty godless. I
I'm
would
pretty
assume.
sure he doesn't have many. If he's listening to this show, I'm pretty sure he's like, you know what? I got to get my ass in church. I don't think that's ever come out of anybody's mouth who's.
Then maybe go to a farmer's market or whatever.
Yeah, you have to. I agree with you. Find a hobby that you have, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and expand on that. Find the hobbyists within your wheelhouse.
I think so.
You know, that's what I think.
Or reverse engineer it. Find a girl. Like, what type of girl do you want, and what kind of hobby would she have? Where does that hobby practice?
But that's
Be in that situation.
that's if you're willing to compromise your own interests. That's what I think is kind of crazy. If you're 40 years old
Mm-hmm.
and you're still, that's a young man's game, That's going me like, I really hate this, but I've got to find a lady here.
Oh, you think so?
Yes.
Well, you might not necessarily hate it. You don't want to find something you hate. Find something that's in the middle.
In the middle of something. I can tolerate this so much. And now I'm finding my way. Yeah, I think when you're 40, you're like, yo, dude, I don't want to do anything that fucking sucks. I don't want to do anything that I don't like. I'm trying to find somebody that has the same relative interests that I do.
Well, every microculture right now does have like a group meetup. There's like any hobby you can find a place in your city, especially San Diego, where you can meet people. You know what I mean?
But I will also say this, you know, there are certain things that like you would be like, oh, I can find a person in the same type of thing. But then you realize that everyone a part of that you're even interested in, like the thing that you're interested in, is a fucking dork.
Yeah.
That's always the worst part. Dude, when I stopped drinking and people were like, you should go to like sober hangouts and like, you know, you should explore stuff like that. And I would. I'm like, this is the dumbest fucking thing in the world. Because everyone's a nerd. Everyone's
a nerd everywhere. Though.
Dude, no, dude, this was even worse. Because what they were doing is they were like bragging about how sober they were.
Yeah.
That's like,
I have noticed that people kind of have like a big superiority complex on it.
It's not that. It's insane. And like you get to the point like, you know what's the problem hanging out with sober people? They're all fucking like, you know, like we got to do something. We've got to do sober activities. We've got to do sober things and like, you know, not be around all this fucking, you know, damaging chemicals that happen to our brain and blah, blah, blah. And then people are like, oh, we don't want any California sober people. It's like, dude, it's so lame. It's kind of like, yeah, you have to work harder when you're 40 to find somebody who will understand you, definitely. But it's also like, don't compromise who you are to find somebody. That's all I can say. Because you're just biting off a bigger fucking, you know, a bigger piece of shit than you can chew. Don't get off the apps. Don't go to the app, but find something you like and see if there is any group activities with it. And then try to cull through the people there. You're not gonna
also get jacked.
Oh yeah, get in shape.
Yeah.
True, I guess you can meet people at the gym, but I don't think that's
No, we're not saying meet people at the gym.
You can't really meet people at the gym.
Just get in shape.
Yeah, get in shape.
Yeah,
true.
Get in shape.
Yeah.
Join the Kumite. That's always a good way.
What's the Kumite?
It's a underground illegal martial arts championship.
Oh yeah, just do like a fucking like Krav Maga or whatever the fuck, or jiu-jitsu, like one of those kind of
jiu-jitsu.
No, like a jiu-jitsu or like a judo or something, like some kind of martial art. Those always have girls, and then
they do.
I think those people link up a lot.
They do.
Yes.
Jiu-jitsu is a very, I wouldn't say incestuous thing, but they definitely all know the other jiu-jitsu people.
Yes. I think life as an adult is all about taking classes or finding like hobby groups.
That's a crazy thing.
You know, if you start stand-up,
well, because there's a lot of people that do nothing.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, I don't know if you guys have talked to like many adults, but so many don't do anything.
Yeah, they don't.
I get it.
Like they just are waiting for the new season of some shit.
That is wild as hell. That's another thing I've never looked forward to a show as an adult.
Really?
I mean, I have, but
I
like
haven't.
it's not, you know.
Yeah, you'll know. Yeah, some people really do just like you'll hear conversations where
they live for the TGIF lineup, dude.
Yes,
and I get it. I was
just at a friend's housewarming party, and this bothered me and Jay were like, no one does anything. Like there is no way to like talk to these.
So wait,
people.
yeah. When you bring something up, or they're like, yeah, you know, we got the kids and we just did this and what? Like, how does that go?
Well, if they have kids, then I can at least talk about like their interests if they're doing something or whatever. It's like the people without kids that are like, oh my God, the new Love is Blind is so crazy.
Wild.
And like, yeah.
What do they do?
It was literally just TV shows.
What do they do for a living? I guess that's the other thing I guess I'll try to like wrap my head around. If I'm trying to talk to somebody and like, what do you do for fun? They're like, yeah, I love Netflix. It's like, that's fucking wild. But they're like, I would be like, what do you do?
This was a lot of like office administrators and like, yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. There are some professions that I think warrant I don't want to do anything. Like some guy who's like a crime scene cleanup dude. I'm pretty sure that guy's like, you know what? Yeah, I deal with fucking horrific imagery every day. Yeah. And I could go into my job, but you know what? I want to come home. I want to watch Severance and forget about everything.
Yeah.
I just don't like. That's what I'm looking forward to. I can get that, but yeah, I guess if you're working in a cubicle, you know,
what do you think the best thing is for someone 40 years old to meet somebody?
What do I think the best thing?
Yeah,
is?
like a best place to go.
Oh,
because I don't know necessarily. Like I don't know necessarily if bars are great for meeting people.
So here's the thing: if I was single, and yeah, I probably would go to like I think
join an improv class. That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
You think that's the best way to go?
For sure, because it's a bunch of people that are like, I think anybody that is doing an improv, like a lot of people are like, I needed to change my life. Like a lot of these people just got out of an awful relationship. You know what I mean? They're trying to turn over a
and
new
they go to
leaf,
an
become a new
improv
person.
class.
Yeah, so I think an improv class is probably the move.
You know what? You're probably not wrong.
You've put a little bit of money into it. Now all those people like want to make friends there. They
Sure.
want to meet people. No one's really super serious about improv where that's going to become like, I can't be in a relationship because I got to pursue improv. Whereas like stand up, you might find people like that.
Well, I mean, there are people that are like, I've got to pursue improv.
There are people
like that.
But you can avoid them.
That's the problem is you're going to get into an improv troupe and be like, I'm just here to have fun.
Yeah.
And then someone's like, you're not hitting the yes ands.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be with, like, I cannot, you don't listen to me. You don't understand what's going on. You're just like, I'm trying to have fun. They're like, no, have fun, but have good fun.
Yes.
That seems.
Also, volunteer.
Oh yeah,
That's a good one.
volunteer.
There's
to
a lot
anything.
of pussy in volunteer.
Yeah, actually,
That's a great one.
Volunteer at an animal sanctuary.
Aw.
I'm telling you. Even if you don't really like animals, you'll find an animal you really
And
relate
even
to.
if you don't find the chick there, being able to tell a chick
Yeah.
that you volunteer.
Crushing.
That's good.
That's
not bad.
Clean up after an oil spill.
Oh. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
I'm telling you right now.
Find a natural disaster.
Environmental disasters that animals are involved in. Be like, oh man, I just got back. I was actually the wildfires in California. There was a bunch of fucking displaced like deer up there, and like I just had to. On
our way to Pittsburgh, we were talking about there was like the volunteer cleanup or whatever. We are talking about people were conceived because they met at the street cleanup.
That's actually that's actually pretty smart to do, honestly. Just to clean up any kind of.
I'm telling you, Ben.
Yeah, that's a really good move because
Damn, we really figured it out.
Yeah, because I think that's where I think cute girls really care about the forest.
They definitely do.
For sure.
And even if you're there, you know what you got to do too? You can't be like, this is really my passion. If you're begrudging, like, you know what? Like, somebody's got to do this. Not like I want to be here because I'm like trying to make a difference. Like, no, I saw this and I can't just stand by any longer. Like, you got to be one of those guys.
I don't want to do it, but only I can prevent
it's like, I'm the only. I heard this somewhere.
And he's in San Diego. Like,
dude,
he's in
it's
Southern California.
Come on.
Yeah, that's
you can go help with wildfires all the time.
Not only help with wildfires, volunteer at a zoo and get a picture of you birthing like a koala.
Volunteering at a zoo is good too.
Volunteer, dude, you're just
does the zoo have volunteers?
So I know the Philadelphia Zoo did for a very short period of time. I don't know if they do it anymore, but they had volunteers, and like when you're volunteering, you're really just cleaning up like shit. You're not really doing anything. But I would tell people I volunteer at the zoo. I fucking would help with like marsupials and stuff like that. And it was like,
if you have one picture of feeding a baby animal with a bottle,
crushing, dude. You know what? Will fucking feeding a baby giraffe with one of those big bottles, the big bottles in a baby giraffe, dude. You are crushing.
Swaddling a baby hippo,
dude. The one fucking even if you were around. No, you don't even have to do. You can be adjacent to it too. There was a dude who was like an animal chiropractor. Did you ever see the fucking footage of this dude?
Yeah, that has gone bad.
Dude.
Don't do that.
No. Don't do animal chiropractic. What I'm saying is if you're around a guy who's like helping a giraffe breathe right, even if you're in the background like kind of pointing or like with a clipboard, it's like, yeah, I oversaw that. Like, he's an amazing dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, I'm glad I can facilitate a giraffe breathing better.
Sure.
If you said like, I helped a giraffe breathe better, you are immediately crushing.
Or get a pet duck, cover it in oil, then clean it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. If you're just Dude, rescue semi-exotic animal. It doesn't even have to be crazy exotic. If you went over a dude's house, like, that's my raccoon. Like, the baby was like dropped off, and like I had to nurse it back to health, and like, you know, like I tried to give it to a shelter, and they were like, we're gonna euthanize it, and I was like, absolutely not.
Do not do that.
Do not. Do you not have a heart?
Yeah.
It's like, and really, I felt my heart grow.
Right.
Like, I never thought I'd be attached to something like that.
Right.
I never thought I'd feel this way about an animal.
That's pretty fun. I like that.
I'm telling you, get a wounded animal.
And you can get into that pretty quick if you're at a girl's house and then she has whatever type of like dish soap she has. You'll be like, this actually isn't good for me.
Yeah, you see these ducks on it? This is a lie. We actually use Palmolive. Dude, this is not Dawn is not the way.
It's not the one.
It's actually not.
You
good.
think it's like this is false advertising, man. It's actually kind of fucked up.
You know what? You can get the same results from a dollar store, Joy. Holy shit! This has been the Ed Podcast with Ryan Shader. I didn't introduce the one and only Ben Staab. Thank you for being on the show. Do you have anything to plug for anybody to listen?
Listen to AO actually.
Yeah.
Follow me on Instagram. I post where my shows are. That's about it.
Fantastic. Make sure you call the hotline 833-443-5300. We'll address any comment, question, concern, or possible dude you tormented in fucking high school, or a place where you're trying to meet women. I'm telling you, the fucking wounded animal or the volunteering.
Yes.
I
love the dichotomy of the calls because one was just like so fucked up, just like, and the other guy's like, I'm really just trying to find love in America.
He's like, yeah, we tortured this kid to no end. So guy's like, my life is crazy right now. The apps suck. Dude, telling you, get a picture of yourself feeding a giraffe with a bottle.
Yes, that's it.
You will crush puss.
Love it.
You will have everything you needed. But again, also don't compromise yourself. Don't start a project or get into a hobby that you don't really like just because you're trying to meet sliz.
You could do that.
You can if you're in your 20. If you're a 40-year-old dude, I get it. I'm saying don't you're gonna get to a point where you're like, this is so fucking gay and dumb. I don't want anything to do with it. And you're gonna be like, I sold my soul. Because your lady's still going to be like, I really like this stuff. You're like, I can't fucking do this. But all you got to do is feed a giraffe. And even if you hate that, you're going to like a part of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's a giraffe.
Come on now.
All right, we're going to switch over to Patreon later.
I'll do it.